All right. This is my very first BookTube video, and my first YouTube video. Take number 2, because I hit the wrong button and erased the whole first one. Technical things. Love it. All right, my name is Jason White. Welcome to Weird Reads. If you don't know me, which you probably don't, that's fine. I'm a podcaster and horror writer. My podcasts are the Darkness Dwells podcast. That's the one that I own and produce and co-host with my friend Michael Schutz. He's from the States, I'm from Canada. And so that's a lot of fun. Go to wheredarknessdwells.com if you're interested in that. And I also do some interviews for the Great Lakes Horror Company. That's a lot of fun too. I've talked to a lot of horror writers, and you know what? On that show, the one thing that's lacking on that show, because it's so hard to schedule it, is a book discussion or talking about books. So lately, I stumbled upon BookTube, and it's like, holy cow! People are talking about books on YouTube. I've been watching YouTube videos for a long time, and I knew that there were some channels where people would talk about books and horror movies, like Adam Cesar or Caesar. I don't know how to pronounce your name, Adam, and I apologize. But yeah, he's one of them that I've been watching for a while. But I forget who it was. But oh, actually, I do remember. But he's like, "Hey, BookTube." I'm like, "BookTube, what's this?" So I typed it in the search, and giant list of BookTubers. So this is a thing. Wow. So I've been obsessed with that lately, and I've been watching probably way too many BookTube videos. I mean, it's cutting into my reading time. So I decided to make my own channel, and I'm going to start with this. The BookTube Newbie Tag, where we have 10 questions, and I'm going to answer them for you. Alright, so question number 1, why did you start this channel? I kind of just went over that, didn't I? Well, let me also say that I'm also like a monkey. Monkey see, monkey do. If I see something that I like, I want to do it. And that's why I write horror. That's why I podcast. I love podcasts. I listen to tons of podcasts. Mostly lately, though, it's been horror writing podcasts, but I'll listen to other ones too. But I've always done that. I see something that I admire and I want to do it. I don't know why that is. Sometimes it makes me feel like I'm nothing but a hack. But it's just what I do. I can't help myself. It's like I'm obsessed. I have serious OCD or something. And you know what? Watching these videos has been inspiring, though, and there's a reason why I want to do this video, is because I love reading, and I love talking about the books that I read, but nobody reads what I read, except for people, out here in internet land. And so the best way for me to discuss any of this stuff is to utilize the tools that we are given on the internet. And on my podcast, we talk about a lot of writing things, the business of writing, publishing, writing short stories, novels, whatever. But we don't really talk about books. So I thought I would start this channel where I can talk about the things I'm reading. Alright, question number 2. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? Well, I'm kind of a weird guy, and I'm not afraid to admit it. Not a weirdo. Let's not go there. And maybe some people think I'm a weirdo. There is a difference between being weird and being a weirdo, right? So, I don't know. When you leave me to my own devices, I kind of go weird, and I think that's a good thing. It can at least be entertaining. And I always aim to entertain. There's an entertainer in here too, very much so. All right. What are you most excited for about this new channel? Well, I'm excited to meet new people, honestly, to make some friends. Hopefully some people who like reading what I like. If not, that's fine. I want to get back into reading. What I've been watching mostly in BookTube land is a lot of literary fiction, so that'll be interesting. Question number 4, why do you love reading? Well, that's an easy answer for me. It's pure escapism and learning things. I've seen some people on this tag say that you get to learn about who you are as a human being through reading, and I couldn't agree with that more. In order to become an empathetic individual and care about people who you don't know or do know, to try and see the world through their lens, I think reading really helps with that. And so you get to learn the way other people live, their reality, and also reading can be just a lot of fun too. It doesn't have to be intellectual stuff, but I like both. The reason why I like both, because for me reading is like a drug. It completely pulls me from my own reality and plops me into a new one. And if you know me, I like being plopped into different realities. Alright. So, question number 5 is, what book or series got you into reading? Now this is a good question because of course, while in school you're forced to read books. I never really liked the books that we were told to read, except for maybe Harper Lee. I love that book, To Kill a Mockingbird. But that was basically it for me at least until I was 12. And when I was 12, my grandmother had a heart attack, and she was in the hospital for a couple of weeks. I remember we'd go to the hospital and just sit there for hours, and it was boring, horribly boring. But down in the gift shop, they had this book called Vietnam Ground Zero. It was by a publisher called Golden Hawk. They did like the Mac Bolan books. And Vietnam Ground Zero is a series of books by two authors who use one name, Eric Helm. And both of them, as it says, I don't know, I mean, maybe it's not true, but it says that both these authors are Vietnam War vets. So, being the weird 12-year-old that I was completely obsessed with the Vietnam War at the time. And so I gobbled these books up. I got my mom to buy me that first Vietnam Ground Zero book, and I gobbled it up, and I went after more. And as soon after that, I got into more mainstream fiction like Stephen King, horror books, and later on fantasy and science fiction, and I've never really looked back. Alright, so question number 6 is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? As of right now, I have no questions. If I ever do, it'll probably be about a book they've read, and I will ask it in their comment section. Alright, question number 7. What challenges do you think starting a BookTube channel will be the hardest to overcome? That's a good question because I work a job with really strange hours. It's called the continental shift. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. If you haven't, the basicness of it is 12-hour shifts, 7 to 7. You're on 2 days, you're off 2 days. You alternate weekends, and you alternate day shift for night shift every 2 weeks. So for me, it's going to be time. Now, I also have a 4-year-old son who's high-functioning autistic, and so whenever he's around, I can't do any of this stuff. All my attention goes to him, as it would with any 4-year-old, as the parents out there know. But so I have a lot of things pulling at my time, including my own writing, and the podcast. So it's going to be time, but I'm still going to be putting out hopefully anyway a video or two each week. So stay tuned for that. All right. When did you start reading? Well, I kind of answered that with what series got me in. I was around 12 when I started reading on my own, and that was with the Vietnam Ground Zero books. Like I said, though, before that, we were forced to read books that I never really enjoyed. But once I found my own stride, it was like, I'm not looking back, dudes. Okay. Question number 9. Where do you read? I read everywhere. I have my cell phone. I have like 2 reading apps on there. I read from iBooks and the Kindle app. I also read, the Dead Tree books. And where I read everywhere I can. Like with the phone, I read, at the doctor's office if it's just me. I listen to a lot of audiobooks, so I read in the car, technically. I read before bed. The only time I really don't read is when I just wake up. I can't stand that. But, because, I'm all like, hey, where am I? Who am I? Who are you? So, yeah. I read everywhere I can. I read at work. Sometimes, I go through spouts where I just don't want to read, too. So, that's cool. Question number 10, and the final question. Let's not hit the close button after this, huh? Okay. What kind of books do you like to read? Alright, so I like to read a bit of everything. Mostly, though, I read horror and weird fiction. I really like those 2 genres, especially lately, the weird fiction. I really like weird things. It's not necessarily the ambiguity within a piece of weird fiction. For me, it's more about... I find that the genre itself makes you think about what you've read, trying to figure out what's going on. Some people don't like that, but I do. I love it. And so... I also really like the literary aspect that kind of comes with the subgenre. And weird fiction is kind of on the rise right now. I think it's still very niche, but it's there. And I think there's some exciting times in regards to that genre coming in the future. I also like to read fantasy, science fiction, crime, some nonfiction. I like learning about things, so yeah, there you have it. Alright, that was my first video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe and like, and I have some more videos planned already. I'm going to do some book hauls, and maybe a book review or two, and maybe I'll check out another tag in the future. Thank you for watching. And I hope to get to know you very soon. Don't hit the close button. Hit the stop, not the close.